Hi, my name is Steele, the National Sales Manager at Kilgore International here at our training center. If you got a moment, be sure to like the video, hit subscribe to get all of our future content. And today we're going to be talking to you about how to attach an oral cavity cover onto your typodont. Installing the oral cavity cover. Now, before we get into that, I want to show you the differences between the two that we carry. The first one is the oral cavity cover with a black strip. And then the second one is the oral cavity cover with the washers. Now, the black strip is specifically for the periodontal and pediatric typodonts. And the oral cavity cover with the washers is specifically for the 200 series typodonts. And the reason that is because you actually can get the best occlusion using those in the respective models. So now what we're going to do is we have this 200 series model, and I'm going to show you how to install the oral cavity cover with the washers onto this model. Now I'm going to show you how to install the oral cavity cover onto our typodont here. Now the nice part is whether it's a perio model, pedo model, a pros, or restorative model, they all attach the same way. So when you get the oral cavity cover and arrives, it's going to come with these longer screws. Now this is important because you're going to have to remove the shorter screws from the typodont currently and use these longer ones to make sure it attaches properly. So right now we're going to take a screwdriver. We're just going to back out these 4 screws. And again, we want to make sure that we're going to hold on to these shorter screws. And the reason being is that if you were to go back and remove the oral cavity cover and just want to go back to a standard setup like you see right here, you'll want those shorter screws, because if you were to try to attach this articulator with these longer screws by itself, it would break that base. So that's important to note. So what I want to do is I want to move these screws aside, save them for later, and now we're going to attach on the oral cavity cover. So here we have the upper arch I want to attach first. So I'm going to go ahead and slide it into the mouth here. Once we do that, it's important to note that there's nothing stamped here at the top. So that's how you know you place the upper arch into that portion. The lower arch will always be placed in the portion with the Nissen stamped in the bottom of the oral cavity cover. So that's very important to note. So what I want to do here is I put the upper arch in. I'm going to go ahead and pinch down. Take the upper portion of the articulator, put that over top, and I just take my thumb and I just place it right on that and let the articulator fall. Now I'm going to take my screws and I'm going to kind of line them up in those holes. And sometimes you got to feel around with your screwdriver and get them to grab. But once you do that, then you just start screw retaining each screw one by one. Now, I just tighten these down somewhat loose because I'm going to tighten them up snug at the end to get the best occlusion. So again, I have the mandibular arch. I'm going to place that in now for the second portion of this. Again, you have the Nissen stamped at the bottom here, so you'll know that's the lower portion. Same concept. So I'm going to kind of maneuver the oral cavity cover around, get it to kind of line up with those holes, makes it a little bit easier. Once you do that, I'm going to again press my thumb on here to hold that still. And in the meantime, I'm going to take the 2 additional longer screws, and I'm just going to set them in here. And then from there, I kind of feel around a little bit, make sure I can find that insert. And once the insert's found, I go ahead and I start tightening them each down. Now, again, I'm just tightening them up a little bit loose because what I want to do is I want to make sure I can kind of get that model into occlusion. Once it's into occlusion, you feel that it's pretty solid, you're going to do a crisscross pattern here when you tighten these screws down. And that way it gives even pressure along the articulator. You get it down, you tighten it down to snug. And again, we're doing a crisscross for that even pressure. And now we're secure. So the occlusion's set and the oral cavity cover is attached. I hope you enjoyed this installment on our how-to series. If you have a suggestion for a video in the future, leave it down in the comments section. Again, be sure to like our video, subscribe to get all of our future content, and we'll see you in the next one.